Hi Tammy, it's Lisa again. And what I want to show you this time in this video is a simpler way to do this project. One that's a little bit more consolidated, so there's less, line items in tasks and even line items in the resources. So you may have seen a couple places in the book where they had maybe painters or construction workers, and they had just construction worker as a resource and maybe 300% because they had really 3 people working on it. So that's what you're going to see here. So first of all, you'll see that the tasks are different. I don't have sessions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. I just have session 1, and that's going to represent the morning session that happens to take place in 3 different conference rooms, right? So that's sort of the morning session. And then session 2 would be the afternoon, and session 3 would be the evening. The hours are the same. I didn't put in your 1 hour for setup and takedown, but hours are the same. The predecessors are simpler. I don't have to do the start to start because I don't have to worry about, all 3 morning sessions with the start to start, so that's a little easier. There's another thing I want you to double check too. I looked at your calendar, but I hope I looked everywhere. So one thing to do when you set up the calendar, if you go to change working time, I know that you probably set up the working hours, so I'll go to default, details. I did it a little differently. I think you did it 8 to 10, but I did it with these lunch breaks in there. So you do set that up for all of those different days, and I saw you did that, but also here's another thing to make sure of. If I go to options down here, this gets me into the default settings, and I want to make sure that that's also a start time of 8 a.m. and an end time of 10. And I just have 12 hours because I assume that people aren't working during the breaks. So, so make sure you set up that as well. And again, that's just in that same dialog box, but down under options. Okay, so then I want to show you what I did with the resources. So in resource sheet view, I just have 1 item for conference room. And I have 1 item for facilitators in the morning, 1 item for the facilitators in the afternoon, and 1 item for the facilitators in the evening. I also have my 1 item for focus group participants, and I did make that a cost resource, which is the same as what I did in your other example. I have the max resources a little different. So I know that all 3 conference rooms are going to be going on simultaneously, so the max units are going to be 300%. That a facilitator, the morning facilitators, there's actually going to be 6 of them, right? 2 in conference room 1, 2 in conference room 2, and 2 in conference room 3. So there's actually 6 of them. So the morning facilitator is going to be paid sort of 6 times to 6 different people, so it's at 600%. Same thing with the afternoon and the same thing with the evening. Okay, but the neat thing is I just have 1 line item for those resources. Then back I go to the Gantt chart. You can see I've started assigning them already, and I have my conference room, because every session needs a conference room, but the morning session, there's 3 conference rooms running. So I assign the conference room and I make sure it's at 300%. Same thing, I assign facilitators to the morning session, but we've got 6 of them, 2 in each of the 3 rooms, right? So 6 of them, that means 600%. And here's my focus group for participants. This, when I add the cost, that's $1,500 because I got to pay each group of 10 gets 50 per person, which is 500, which is $1,500. In the morning session, I'm going to pay out $1,500. So let me show you this. I'll assign it to the next task as well. So here's session 1. I'm going to go up to resources and assign, and I want to assign the conference room. But the units, because I have 3 conference rooms running simultaneously, right, I need to make it 300%. Okay, facilitator in the morning, this is session 1, so it's the morning session, yep. So I need to assign a facilitator, the morning facilitators, and they need to, since there's 6 of them, they need to be at 600%. Whoops. Okay. That's for session 1. Then we don't, these are for the other sessions. Then I need the focus group participants. And this is just a cost. That's how I chose to do it. There's a couple ways you could do it. And since I know that I have 3 different focus groups, each costs, I have to pay $500 for each group to pay everybody, I need $1,500 and I'll hit enter. And then I'll assign and then I'll close and you can see here's the same thing. Whoops, did it accidentally? I accidentally added the focus groups, the facilitators, the evening facilitators. So let me go back in that and unassign the facilitators for the evening. And then I'll close. Okay. And then something happened here, I think because I accidentally made a mistake. Because it shows me 40 hours and I should just have 36 hours. So hang on, let me just do it again. Something happened. So something odd is happening. I'm getting 40, but hey, you might as well see this live troubleshooting. So the nice thing is I added the work column, which shows the hours, and I added the cost column because I want to make sure as I'm adding this that it's all matching because it should be the same sort of over and over again. And this is nice because then I'll catch these little things like, hey, it's 40 hours and it should be 36. What's interesting is it doesn't show anything here. If I go back to assign resources, it doesn't show anything here, and I'll show you where you can look. If I go to the task usage view, and this was day 2, yeah, here, this is sometimes odd. If I make a mistake, remember I made a mistake and I accidentally added the evening facilitator. I didn't think I did, but I did, clearly. It shows here, unassigned 4 hours. That's where that little extra 4 hours is coming from. So I want to get rid of that. Clean that up. Oh, it's not letting me here. So hang on, let's see. When that happens too, it's like it thinks it's still in memory. What I do is I'll go back to the Gantt chart view, and it's good to see this troubleshooting. It doesn't always happen, but I tend to delete everything because it's like it's still in memory. This is a big database, and it doesn't, even though you delete something, it still sort of holds on to that. So sometimes I just need to delete, and I need to save, and I need to come back here and do it again. So 4 hours, I am doing session 1, and the predecessor. So I didn't delete the row, I just deleted the data in that row. Really everything, including the predecessor, is a good idea. Predecessor is 6. Okay, now I'm set, and now I'm going to try adding the resources again. So assign resources. I want the conference room. I want the facilitator in the morning, or the facilitators, and the participants. And conference rooms at 300% because there's 3 of them. Facilitators are at 600% because there's 6 of them, and the focus groups are going to cost me $1,500. And then I'll close, and 36 hours looks good. You can also, of course, copy this. So, I could have copied all 3 of these and then repeat them down here and then repeat them down here. So, for example, I'll highlight this, copy, and repeat down here. Just make sure the hours and the numbers are right, and that does it. So this is another interesting way to do it. It's a simpler way to do it. Now you may say, well, why do it this way versus the way you did it? The way you did it might be important if you're paying the facilitators different rates. So if you have senior facilitators that are making a higher rate than the junior facilitators, or the evening facilitators make a higher rate, although I guess I differentiated them here. So there's you break things down with more detail if you have variation. So like variation in rates, for example. So this is a simpler way to do it. You might want to try this way as well, because it'll be less less line items, and you'll learn a slightly different way to represent the data. All right, Tammy, I hope this helps. This is the end of the video.